Hey there, team. Eric here. I got a fun one for you this time because I was digging through some old teaching materials archives and I found some wonderful jewels of PowerPoint presentations that I created over probably about 20 years ago when I was a part of the JET program coming to teach English in Japan. Things like Mario Shiritori and Link's Definition Adventures, Pikachu's Something Challenge. I even forgot what all this was, but I spent weeks making these PowerPoint presentations, and they are terrible and wonderful all at the same time, and I'd love to share them with you now in my new video. All right, so the English Olympics, which in itself is probably unusable as far as the protections that the Olympics have on using that term in different competitive contexts, and even all these characters and things is probably a big NG, as they would say in Japan. But some of these are just too good not to just show you in a fair use educational context. So just a little background information. I was an ALT in Japan, assistant language teacher from approximately 2005 to 2010 in the city of Miyazu, is the northern part of the Kyoto Prefecture. And I got sent to different junior high schools and occasional high school or elementary school, but mostly I created materials, I supported the teachers there, and I gave other kind of assistance to the English language teachers in this school district. I went from school to school. Usually each school I spent a day per week at. I created this gem probably over several weeks, probably refined over a year or so in different contexts. Because sometimes when the teachers would have some time off or a test had just finished, some of the language teachers in the district would say, let's have some fun. Please come and bring some fun materials and let's just practice language together and have some fun. And so this was my go-to for maybe a year or two. I don't quite remember how extensively I used it, but I do remember having fun making this type of thing. So there's different types of games that I made it sort of into a competition. I got some prints that I found, some worksheets that went along with them. It was all sort of supposed to be this kind of either individual or team. I had different versions of these to have fun over the course of the day. It gave the students a lot of different choices about which competitions and which things to try out. And there were these 5 events that I made, and then different groups, different teams would get points or medals depending on those, and we'd have a big fun time just practicing English skills. And I even had this kind of menu thing here. It's linked. My PowerPoint design skills have definitely improved, although I would probably never spend the amount of time I have with all of these animations and links and everything else along with it. If you're familiar with Shiritori, that's what I did the Mario challenge on. And actually, because it opened up another PowerPoint file, all right, got that one back. The PowerPoints actually load up different files and start them automatically, and so that didn't come on to my recording right away, so I had to go find that file and open it directly for the purposes of capturing it. Shiritori is usually in the Japanese language where you go along and trade turns, you say a word, and the next person has to say a word that begins with the last sound of the word that came before, right? Shiritori, Rikoku, or something. But we can change this into English very easily. Just use the last letter of the word that came before it, right? So Eclipse is an E, Eric is my name, or you could say to Eric and then C, cookie, and then we're back to E again, things like that. So very simple and created this sort of, there he is back here, you can barely see him. There's different stages, so a minimum letter count for the words, and I would have them go back and forth and get points. And so each time you were able to, maybe I'd give it 5 or 10 seconds, you go by and you would actually get a point. And you can warp around. And depending on, yeah, I remember putting in these animations, and geez, if anyone's ever done a lot in PowerPoint, you can tell already that it takes quite a lot to put these little bits of animations into this. It's not a video. I'm clicking it to progress on these, and it's, you know, making the 10 coins appear. And in this particular challenge, I think there was a minimum of 4 letters for word here. This is for junior high school students in Japan. And I checked they'd have to, as a team, they'd have to try and write the words on a sheet. And if they win, or if they pass, there's a funny sound for this one too. And I even put in the animation for the flower that came out of the pipe. Next level was a similar thing, but this time was only 5 words, I believe, but a minimum of 7-letter words or something like that. And so the score went up as we went along here. I remember, in particular, students were a little bit irritated with this because you can't just touch the fish in Mario. You actually die if you're playing the game. So I didn't represent the game well enough in this case for the students that were already very well knew that I actually would. All right. Let's try the last stage. Defeat Bowser.
Let's go.
I think actually I had a different font for this one. And the animation, because I'm recording, maybe it's not working as well as I'd hoped. Usually there's a ball that flies out here. It was working just fine a minute ago, but I'm probably recording the screen and it's not working as well as I'd hoped.
You found the princess. Game over.
Yeah, there was definitely a different font for that game over. And it's back to the old default font that went for Windows. Well, there's a couple other ones I would love to show you. The Link was another game, Pokemon, Sonic Adventures. They're all different types of games, and they're all kind of the same thing, where it's a bunch of PowerPoint animations accompanied with some worksheets or some verbal challenges. And I even had like these kind of medals, silver, bronze. At the end, we would have this kind of mock ceremony. It was really fun, and it was really fun to actually come back and look at this old PowerPoint. You can notice it's still in 4:3 ratio. Nobody even makes PowerPoints like that anymore. They're all 16 by 9. But it was definitely a blast making them. Maybe I could put these up in the link below where you can check that out, perhaps, as a link, as a resource for you, so you can check that out a little bit later. Thank you for indulging me on this little trip back in time to check out some old PowerPoint presentations for English language class here in Japan. We'll see you in the next video, team. Bye-bye now.